Hello, hello. Good evening, good evening. We are getting geared up for the Working Wednesdays broadcast. Having a little bit of technical issues tonight, but we press on, we press through. So I just want to say, do me a favor, like, share, tag the video, get someone on tonight. Hello, good evening, good evening. And of course, I'm going to tag my special guest tonight. So excited to have her on as always. So I just tagged her. So once she comes up, we will get her on. So good evening. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Come on into the room. Come on in. Hello, 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 everybody. There she is. She's ready to roll. Welcome to the Working Wednesdays broadcast. Hello there. How are you this evening?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm here. I am here.
That's all right.
We got a little bit of technical issues tonight, but nevertheless,
Me too.
we press. Tam got technical, I got technical, but it's all good. We are here. I'm excited to be on tonight. Do me a favor, everybody, like, share, tag the video, get someone on. It's going to be a great conversation. So excited to have Tam the Ram on with us tonight. She has a lot to share about her newest release. So I'm going to give her a moment. Go ahead, Tam, share who you are and greet our audience on tonight.
Awesome. Absolutely. Hey, guys. I am your girl, Tam. And she said, Tam the Ram. It's a long story behind it. But I'm Tam. I am the owner of Make It Rise, rebuild intentionally and strategically for effectiveness. I am your marriage advocate, your healthy marriage advocate. I am an author. I'm a mother. I am working on some great things right now, you guys, that kind of put a twist in what the original design of Make It Rise was, or is, because it still is. And I'll continue to say that as we move forward with this interview and as you follow me and just listen to where we're going with this. I am really, really passionate about healthy marriages. So let's start there. Mm-hmm. And so what I do, I pour into husbands and wives, mainly wives. I pour into them to remind them of who God created and designed them to be. As a wife, but as an individual first. And so I'm just excited to be on here with you. We're not going to monopolize the time. We're going to go ahead and get it going, Audra.
Awesome, awesome. So thank you for joining us on the Working Wednesdays broadcast. Tam is a consistent guest, so I appreciate you coming on with us time and time again to share what God is doing in your life. So we off script tonight. We off the recording. Well, not recording, but, we off the whole whatever you want to call it that's surrounding Working Wednesday. So we off script. So we're just gonna have a general conversation tonight. Talk about healthy marriages. Start there. Let's start with what a healthy marriage is, what it looks like. What does it feel like? A lot of people don't understand what healthy looks like, especially when you've seen nothing but negative. So let's start with what a healthy marriage looks like before we get into life after the deed, so to speak.
Absolutely. So that's a great question because, as you stated, many people do not really know what healthy looks like because we've been so accustomed to seeing what unhealthy marriage looks like. And so we'd be surprised to hear that a healthy marriage comes with those things that are not so easy to handle, right? Those things that we do not want to address. We don't want to talk about. We don't want to share. So the healthy portion in that comes with how you deal with it, how you effectively communicate about it, right? Because something can occur in the marriage, but not addressing it the proper way where and if it's a God ordained marriage or a God-centered marriage where God isn't getting the glory from it, then that first and foremost is not healthy at all. We want to use the things that God has given us as individuals, as healthy individuals, as a wife or as a husband, to impart into the marriage, right? So everything that he's given me, the oil God has given me as a wife for my husband, I should be able to use that, and that is going to enhance the marriage. And vice versa, same thing. What God has given the husband, he should be using that in the marriage so that it can enhance it. We should be able to communicate effectively. And what does that look like? That looks like knowing how to talk to your spouse, right? And knowing their love language. And you know what? We say love language all the time. And Audrey, you know, you've heard me say this. Your love language kind of shifts.
Right.
It just, you know, it's not just one specific thing. Because if we say that this is my particular love language, what we're doing is putting ourselves in a box.
Right.
So do not put yourself in a box where we all know that men are pretty simple. You tell them it's A and A it is, right? And so if you're expecting A in the morning, B in the afternoon, C in the evening, and D the next day, that's a setup for him.
Right.
And so I'm going to start with effective communication as being a part of healthy marriage, loving God, making sure that he is the center of that relationship, that marriage, understanding that you, the husband, is supposed to love his wife like Christ loved the church. So what does that say? That say, I got to know how Christ loved the church. What does that even look like? Right? What does that look like? Me submitting to my husband. What does submission look like? What does the word say versus what the world say? Because the world will tell me that if I submit to my husband, I'm allowing myself to be ran over and stepped on and just taken advantage of. And the word is telling me to be humble. The word is telling me to listen. The word is telling me to be that strong spiritual piece, to be the neck, right, of this. And so if we aren't taking all of those things into consideration, we're definitely not being in a healthy led marriage.
Wow. You know, main thing you said for healthiness is effective communication. And I think that that's a lot of why a lot of marriages fail, because, you know, one person's idea of communication may not be another person's idea of communication. Or they may have said something one way, and based on our experience, we perceive what they said based on our experience, but it may not have been what they meant, so to speak. And that is what can destroy communication as well, misinterpreting, you know, what somebody has said. And so we talked about what healthy looks like. So now let's talk about what unhealthy looks like, or, you know, what are some things that cause relationships and marriages to fail?
Absolutely. Selfishness. Selfishness is one of the greatest things that will cause a marriage to fail. When we get into a marriage, we have to understand that it's about serving. If you aren't ready to serve, you aren't ready to be a wife or a husband, period. I should be here to serve your need, but the only way that I can serve your need is by continuously being a teacher and a student. So I have to be a student to learn who you are today, who you are becoming, who you are adjusting to be, who God has already designed you to be, and you're just trying to fit into that space that God has designed you to be. I'm setting us up if I'm not allowing myself to grow with you, right? If the person that I said I do to 5 years ago is definitely not going to be the same person, you know, sometime down the line. And it doesn't mean that I have to change, so to speak, but I do, my mindset has to change. The way that I'm viewing things has to change, right? If the goal is to serve the need. So we're setting ourselves up for an unhealthy marriage if we aren't serving. So if you aren't ready to serve, you aren't ready for marriage. And I believe that a lot of that comes with premarital counseling, right? Premarital counseling is just an open door for us to say, hey, look, this is who I am. This is what I grew up believing. It doesn't mean that this is what I grew up believing and this is where I'm going to be, but I'm letting you know where my point of views are from. We're only wrong when we're not willing to come together and create language that works for the marriage. When I say, no, you need to speak the way that I speak, or you say, I need to speak the way that you speak, we are in an unhealthy, we're already setting ourselves up for failure.
You know, you said something that was key, you know, this is what I grew up believing. And a lot of times we get mindsets based on what we saw, you know, whether it was right or wrong. So now we have to go in. When you go in with the servant's mindset and the servant's heart, it is, I may have to break down my ideology and my thought process and the way I thought it was right in order to switch gears into being a servant of the other person's needs. Because most of the times we come to the relationship with our list of, this is what I want, this is what you should be doing, but we don't come with a list of saying, this is what I can do to serve the other person. And you know, you're right, you know, because I'm gonna be honest, some days I'll be like, I ain't ready. Because I'm in myself today. I don't want to be no serving nobody. But it's every day. You know what I mean? It's not when you feel like it. It's every day. Yeah. You know.
Think about this, Audra. Not to cut you off. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
But think about this. Think about how a server at a restaurant, how they serve their, you know, the ones that have good customer service.
Yeah. Put that in.
Right. Think about their job. Think about how they operate. There's been many a time. Matter of fact, perfect example. When you came here to California and we went to eat, it was our first time meeting in person. So we were very excited. Yeah. We wanted to talk about so many different things. We hadn't even picked up the menu.
Right.
So our server came over multiple times.
Right.
And he said, just let me know when you're ready. I'm here. Do you want water? He was very professional, right? And we continued to move forward with what we were talking about, right? But he was diligent with what he was there for. It was his job to wait on us. It was his job to serve us. And that is what we have to have that mindset going into marriage or being married. Be there to serve and know that the person that you're serving isn't always going to be ready to do it the way that you want it to be done. And so if you're ready to say I do or willing to say I do, it comes with patience. Right. It comes with understanding. It comes with passion. It comes with consideration, right? Consider all of the things that the other person, consider their experience, right? I always say this. I'm coming in with some experience and situations. You're coming in with experience and situations. And we have to find a way to make these bridges come together. Right. Because although we say, let go of the drama and let go of, you know, all the things that we had before, don't bring in your past into, well, your past actually has become a part of who you are. Someone said it to me like this the other day. You have a perfect heart and you give you cut a piece of your heart out and you give it to someone. And they may misuse it. They may not do the right thing with it. And now you get it back and you sew it in there. But it's still a scar. Even though that piece is in there, that heart is no longer whole the way it was originally when it was first designed. Yeah. We go into relationships and we go into marriages scarred, right? It doesn't mean that we are broken. It doesn't mean that we aren't healed, but there is a scar that is going to be there that is going to dictate how we respond to certain things in a relationship or in a marriage.
Yeah. You said so many good nuggets. I'm like, okay, which one do I go with next? The first thing that you said that was so good was going back to the server and how he kept coming back, being attentive to the needs that we had. He wasn't pushy. He wasn't overbearing. It was, like you said, whenever you're ready. How many times have we gotten into going back to, again, communication, how many times have we gotten into an altercation or whatever and just like, whenever you're ready, with that soft demeanor, you know, because the demeanor is everything. How do we put that soft demeanor up? Whenever you're ready, I'll be here. That's the attitude of a servant. Whenever you're ready, I'll be here. Why do we have to have the mindset that I'm not being paid in order to be in that attitude of servanthood? So that's the first thing I wanted to say. The next thing is yes, we do come with, and when you were talking, I was thinking about the cover of your latest book, which we want to get to. I was thinking about the cover and how you have the heart with the stitches and how the two things are stitching together, but yet, yes, show that's good. I'm talking about this cover, how she has the two hearts, but yet it's a broken heart, but yet it's being stitched together. So talk about starting to mend those pieces, because I know I have some people listening who have experienced divorce. I've experienced divorce, And I know for me, it's my healing has been coming in phases, so to speak. It's not that I told myself that I wasn't what was okay, because I knew I was not okay. But I dealt with what I could in that moment. And then as moments came and things came in waves, I started to allow those two broken pieces to start coming back together. So talk about the book. Talk about why you just decided to bring some ladies together or some women together, and talk about this process of putting those pieces back together.
Absolutely. So it's so much to that, Audra, it really is. And I get a little emotional as I talk about it, or as I even think about it, because let's just be clear, this is not the place that I ever saw myself being, especially after I said I do, right? So who actually says I do to end up saying not anymore, or I don't want to, or I don't? Not too many people, right? And so with the book cover and the way you describe the heart and the stitches, I was put into thought about that, how the individual as a woman or as a man, but as me, myself, the things that I had to go through in order for the broken heart to begin to mend and come back together. As I stated earlier, regardless to what counseling I get, I can get into another relationship, remarry, all of those things, that scar will be there. It will be there because there was a break once upon a time. It doesn't mean that my responses to that will have to be as a broken woman or one that's not healed. It just means this was a part of my experience in life. And so I chose to reach out to some ladies and ask them to be a part of the anthology, Life After Divorce, because I know that divorce is one of those things that is not looked at as being so sexy. It's not intriguing. It's not something that we asked for. It's not something that we willingly raise our hand to, and so it's not talked about enough. In the church, a lot of times we're made to believe that we are held bound. We are made to believe that we have done the worst of the worst because we've decided to get a divorce, right? And I won't lie, there was a time before my divorce that I just did not believe that it was anything that God would approve of, right? And so I struggled with saying, you know what, this is where I'm at. And so I had to get to that place, though. That took some time. It didn't happen overnight. And even after I said I'm getting a divorce, there were still some challenges within myself that I had to deal with. And honestly, sometimes I still have to bring myself to reality. This is your truth. I mean, the smallest thing, from filling out applications and it asks you what's your status. I no longer can put married. I have to put divorce, right? And I recall the first time having to write that, I literally picked my phone up and began to send my ex-husband a text message, letting him know how foul he was for putting me in a position of having to check off divorce, right? That's where I was.
That's real.
Right? So
that's real.
Yeah, it's real. I blamed him for everything, but God had to show me in it all as well. If your goal is to show and share who he is in it all, that wasn't the right way of responding. So that was a sign that, okay, I need some healing. I still need more healing because I thought I was good. So asking these ladies to come aboard and be a part of this was very strategic. Me knowing that there's other women and people, just other people out there who are going through divorce, who are either going in, they're in it, or coming out of it, that need some help. I wanted us to be what I needed when I was in those positions. You talked about there being just different layers of this thing. There definitely is. And I think the first place to start to bridge that gap, bring that heart back together to mend it, is acceptance. It's acceptance. We must first accept our location. My pastor preached many times, and he used an example, the analogy of being in the mall or the store, and you go to the kiosk and it tells you where you're at. It says you are here, but you're looking. So you may be here in front of Macy's, but you're trying to get to Nordstrom's, right? And you're going to look at a way of getting to Nordstrom's. But here's the thing, you have to know where you're at in order to get to where you're going. Many times we negate the fact that there's a journey between here and over there where we're trying to go, and we want to just jump straight to where we're trying to go. And many of us do it, right?
Yeah.
We do it, and then we find ourselves having to go back to where we first started, wasting time because we aren't willing to accept. So our first step would be to accept. We have to be accepting of where we're at. Then we're going to go through a thing called coping, right? When we talk to people about coping, you hear coping, you hear not so good. You feel like it's a negative, you know, but not necessarily.
Right.
We all have to have some type of coping mechanism. And that, again, just says, this is where I'm at.
Yeah.
This is how I feel.
Yeah.
These are my emotions. They're all valid, right? My emotions are valid. My response to these emotions is what I'm working on.
Right.
You know, so that I can go to the next level of healing and I can get to the next level of recovery. It's all a journey. It's all a process. And I'm actually working on an online course that bridges the gap with all of these things that I'm talking about. And it's called Reclaiming Peace, P-E-A-C-E, within the pieces, P-I-E-C-E-S. And it's a 5-week course. And I know for a fact that this book, coupled with that course, is going to be somebody's journey to being healed and whole.
Yes. When you were talking, I heard roadmap. It sounds like you have a roadmap of going from acceptance to whatever those stops are along the way to healing. It's just like if you decide you want to go way cross country, me being in Florida, you being in California, there's no way I'm not going to pick up a map. There's no way. Because I can end up anywhere off in left field, and then what it does is it would delay me getting to the final destination, which is healing. So it sounds like this is a roadmap, you know, in order for people to take those stops along the way. What would you say to someone who don't want the roadmap? They just want to jump from one spot to the next. What would you say to somebody who's like, I don't want a roadmap. I don't want, you know, I don't want you to show me the way.
I just want to arrive?
Yeah. You got some people who just want to arrive. They don't want.
Oh, I know. Hey, listen, I was one. I wanted to just arrive. I didn't want to go through the journey. So I would say to that person, if you do it right the first time, you won't find yourself doing it again the next time.
That's good.
Because although you get there, here's the thing. There is more meat in the journey than it is at the goal.
Wow.
There's more meat.
That's good.
In the journey.
I need to see some hearts and some likes on that.
Listen.
That's good. There's more meat in the journey.
More meat
than at
in
the
the journey.
Come on now. Break that down.
Than the destination.
Break that down.
So the stops that you are going to have to make on the journey, there's lessons in there. And so whether that lesson is someone that you encounter, a location that you end up at, you know, some thought processes that you need, all of that is going to help you for the destination. Because here's the thing, when we get to the destination, there is a door that will be open to us.
That's good.
When you get on the other side of that door, the things that you had to encounter in the journey is what you'll need. Those are the tools. God is preparing you. He's giving you the tools that you'll need because you're going to need to use those on the other side of the door of destination.
Right.
You have your starting point that hurts like hell. It doesn't feel good. You don't want to go through it, but in order to get through it, you have to make some movement. You have to move. You can't just stand there stagnant, right? And then you can't blink. You're not Genie and be at the destination. So here's the thing. Give yourself permission, not someone else permission to hold your hand, to drag you through, to talk you through, to counsel you, to pray with you, to pray for you. Give yourself permission to want the lesson.
That's good.
Give yourself permission to want better.
That's good.
If you want to get to the destination, then there's no way around going through these things to get to it because you're going to need everything that you encounter your destination, or you'll be back. You'll end up coming back, or you'll repeat the same cycle. It'll be different faces, but everything will be the same. Same attitudes, same personalities, everything that you've encountered will happen again, but just different cast, same script,
Right.
different cast.
Right. That's good. You're going to need the meat along the journey, because if you don't get the meat you need along the journey, when you get to the destination, you won't be equipped. You won't have the right equipment. You won't have the right attitude, the right heart, the right demeanor. Because if you're someone, because don't forget, everyone, we're talking about the journey from divorce to recovery, but is recovery mean you want to be in the right marriage? Do you want to be in the right relationship? So if you do desire to be in a right relationship, you gotta have what comes along the journey, or you'll get to the destination and then you'll be ill-equipped and you won't be able to receive that promise at that destination. So that is so good that you're saying that, because we do want to skip along the way. We do want to bypass the bump in the road, or the speed bump, or the stop sign, or the yellow light, or the green light. We want to go and defy all the traffic laws, so that when we get there, we can just say we made it.
We can just say we made it, defy all the traffic laws, get the tickets, and don't want to pay them once we get the tickets. Right? We just want to stuff them. And here's the thing. And I'll say this as women, because we have that fairy tale of wanting to be the wife, and we want to have kids, and that's a fairy tale. We want all of that, right? And there's a lot of husbands out there, but you want to make sure it's your husband, okay? Because if you can get somebody else's husband, and guess what you're going to get? Somebody else's problems that they have been given the oil for. And so God is giving you oil for your own king. Even if it's something that you personally feel like, I don't want to deal with that, but if God is giving you the oil for that thing, you have been called to help him become who God has designed and created him to be. Everything that you need is at your fingertips. It's in you, or right at your fingertips. And in marriage, the things that are not in you, and most of the things that are right at your fingertips is in the person that God has designed and created for you. If you are not available to be there and willing to be poured into, to be prayed over, to be led, to be guided, to be covered, all those things because of lack of knowledge, because you refuse to eat the meat along the way and just get on a pogo stick and jump directly to your destination, then woe be unto you, because there's some things that you're going to need in that, as we said, in that process, before you even get to the happily ever after.
You're saying such good stuff. First of all, the pogo stick to get there, that's first thing. But you said something so good. Y'all need to like, share, comment. Let me bring the audience in before I keep going. Good evening to those who are listening to us. Carolyn, good evening, woman of God. God bless you. Barbara Clemens, God bless you. Curiosity, hello. God bless you this evening. Who else we got on here? Dr. Rochelle McMillan, God bless you. Our panelists, on our fellow sister on the Ladies Delight Journey to Freedom. Zandra Washington says, perfectly said. Hello, beautiful women of the Most High. Hello, good evening, Zandra. Wanda Briscoe, good evening to you as well. Prophetess Wanda. Tiara Gillum, God bless you. Carolyn says, very true. We must be ready to serve. So true, so true. Let's see who else we have on here. Sharna Todson, good evening. God bless you all. Thank you all for listening. Please share the video. This is a great conversation. I gotta go to what you said about the oil and how you have the right oil for the right king. Listen to this, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't have the right oil when you get to a king, I'm saying a king because only your oil will fit that king. So I'm not going to say your king, I'm going to say a king, right?
Yeah.
If you don't have the right oil, the first thing that dropped to my mind was the chemistry of your oil. what's in the chemistry of your oil, right? What are the properties? When we say properties, I'm getting ready to get off into some that might sound real technical, but if you know anything about chemistry, you know that oil has certain properties that does certain things, right? It's just like the olive oil. It has certain properties to do certain things. The grapeseed oil, the frankincense, the myrrh, whatever oil that you have is designed to heal certain things. Just like lemon oil is designed to help relax the muscles, right? I'm saying this for a reason because your oil has a certain chemistry in it based on what you've been through, based on what you have healed from, based on what you've been delivered from, so that when you get to a king, your oil will not have a stench when it hits that king. What do I mean by that? It's just like perfumes, right? You know, certain perfumes don't go with your body chemistry. You put on a certain perfume and it might smell great on Tam, but it stink on Audra. Come on, somebody. So when you got the right oil that has the right properties with the right chemistry, when it gets to the right king, then everything will come together with a beautiful fragrance. That just what dropped in my spirit when you start talking about that oil. You got to get the right oil for the right king. Now, let's talk about what that looks like. Let's talk about some of the frictions that can occur when you get to the wrong king. Let's talk about that. What do you see as could be some things that the oil may not match up to the right king? What are some things you would say that keeps the oil from matching up, so to speak?
Being unequally yoked.
Yeah.
Being unequally yoked, whether it be whether it be religious or not. You know, when we talk about being unequally yoked, of course we think about, you know, the Bible, we think about the word, but at the same time we got to think about just being unequally yoked, not having anything compatibility. You know, what I have, so what I have should enhance what you will be.
That's good.
What the oil that I have for you, because here's the thing, I'm giving oil to bless an area of your life that you haven't quite tapped into.
Yeah.
So this oil is going to enhance some areas of you that you may not even know need to be enhanced. Right? So God has given me something for you that maybe you know and you just don't have the enthusiasm, or you don't have the drive, or what. But it's going to take me, the woman that he has created for you, to use this oil on you, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes we're going to get the kickback, the friction, as you said. Sometimes you'll get that. But when we go into this thing with love and oil, right? Because I can have the oil, but be using it the wrong way with the wrong attitude.
Yeah.
But if I go in this thing with love and oil, right, then I begin to, and God begins to massage the heart of the person who I'm supposed to be using this oil on.
Yeah.
Right? If I'm using the oil on you with the way that I communicate with you, with the way that I make love to you, with the way that we save our money, with the way that we run the household, right? All of those things, you know, the smallest things are considered the oil that I have for my king, right? And the oil that you have for your king, as you said, there's so many different oils. There's so many different oils that God has given us as women or as husbands. There's so many different oils he has given us to use on our specific mate.
Right.
And if we aren't willing to first hear God, and so that he can guide us and show us how and say and pour and pray and all those things, it's so imperative to know. Because many times we move on our own emotions, and we want to give that thing that was given to us for him or her. We want to use it at all times.
Right.
And God is saying, not right now. This isn't the time, right?
Yeah.
Because the person that you are pouring or using this oil on, you want them to be receptive of it so that it is effective. So we can have the oil all day.
Right.
But if the other person isn't receptive of what we're giving them, then we're kind of fighting a battle that we shouldn't have to fight. So that it goes back to the individual looking in the mirror and not the window. It goes back to the individual of being able to hear God tell us those oils.
Using my phone, so a call kept coming through. Can you hear me?
I can.
Good. Good stuff. This is such good stuff. Let's bridge more into the book and talk about what your hope is for the book. You know, anyone who gets it in their hands. I know this time you brought the ladies in to tell their story. What is your hope for the book long term? You know, I know you said you got a course coming out of it. Talk about when the course launches as well as your hope for the book.
Absolutely. So the course is going to launch. I'm so excited, you guys. The course is going to launch the 1st of November. Live. And man, God is so good. And I say that because I never thought that this would be my niche, not divorce. You know, I've always said that I know what God gave me with Make It Rise, you know, creating a movement where we're changing the view of how society has defined marriage, not divorce. But as I said earlier, he's given me so many different vehicles to drive to get to, here we go again with that destination,
right?
To get to that destination. And so this project, Life After Divorce, is just another vehicle to get there. And you say, how is this life after divorce? How is that getting you to healthy, whole, and healed marriages? Well, it goes back to being the healthy individual, you know, and that's what this project is about. That's what this movement, it's a movement and not just a moment. We didn't write this book for the moment. We wrote this book for the movement. And so the movement is also called it's also called Rise Girl Rise.
Yes.
Rise Girl Rise. There is life after divorce,
yes.
Right? And so what we're doing with this project is we are actually going on tour. We're starting in Texas, January 22nd, 2022. So what we're going to do is all of the ladies, we have about 5 ladies that are in different states. There's 12 of us total. We have about 5 ladies that are in different states. And so we're going to tour in their states, their cities, and we are going to focus a conference around living life happy, healthy, whole, and healed after divorce. Because the goal is for us, after we come out of this thing, the traumatic experience of divorce, and feeling like we are less than, and that we are failures, and that, you know, we're not accepted, and we have all these different broken pieces. My goal is to come in and show them that you can still live life whole after that experience. It's a journey, as we talked about, but you can, right? So if you are willing to, I'm willing to walk with you through this thing. The ladies that I have asked to come along with me, the co-authors that are willing to share their experience, a couple of them have remarried, right? And in that, I just thought that was phenomenal, because although they've remarried, they didn't forget what they felt and the experience that they had when they were in this thing called divorce. And so they are willing to help me push the mission and the vision by saying, girl, get up, rise up, girl, rise up. We got you. Let me show you and share with you what I did, what I went through. It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to go through the same exact thing or you're going to take the same exact steps, but I want this to give somebody hope that there is life. They can be who they were created to be. I just want them to reach back on the shelf where you put pieces of you up at, because nobody shared or showed you that who you are before you said I do. You can still be that person once you say I do, right? Somebody didn't teach us that. And so we thought that being a part of us, bringing a part of us into the marriage and allowing him to be all of him is what was needed. When many times the part that we put on the shelf is really what's needed. Right? That woman that is able to share her opinion, that someone said, don't give it, was put on the shelf is what was needed, right?
Yeah.
The fact that I'm able to pray over my husband without him even knowing that I'm praying over him. I don't have to tell him, right? When we're going through some things. That stuff I put on the shelf because nobody told me, no, bring that along. You're going to need that as a part of the tool in your marriage. So my goal is to get us to a place where all of those pieces have been put back together. And if your desire is to remarry, now you are equipped with the proper tools that you can use going into the next marriage and not taking past issues into this next marriage as we go on with this movement.
Wow. You know, it's almost like, you know, I see more women coming. And so my next question was going to be, will there be another anthology coming after this one? Is my question.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. There definitely is another anthology that is coming very soon. I would like to just continue to build on this because my goal is to make sure that we are talking about divorce. It is not a bad word. It's not a bad word. It's a bad experience, but it's not a bad word, right? And I want us to be okay with where we're at, our location. You know, this is who you are. It's creating you to be, it's creating a part in you or a piece in you that is going to be with you for the rest of your life. But it doesn't have to be a negative. You know, I want to change the trajectory of what the world say that you are as a divorced woman or as a divorced man. So I'm definitely going to open it up again for the anthology. I'm also looking to do a male version because we all know that even the man has some things that he has to work on, you know, hurts and pains and not being whole and all of that before he can really lead, guide, protect all the things that God has told him to be. He have to be that for himself first before he can be that for a woman. And so I'm definitely looking to do the male version or the male version of Life After Divorce.
Nice. So we're going to wrap up for this evening, but before we go, tell everybody where they can find you at on social media, Amazon, all that good stuff. Tell everybody how they can find you.
Absolutely. On Facebook, I am under Make It Rise. On Instagram, I am under Make It Rise. On YouTube, same thing, Make It Rise. My website is TamoraJohnson.net. TamoraJohnson.net, TAMORA, Johnson.net. I can be found on all of those platforms. Again, you guys be looking out for the information regarding the online course. I would love to have you all there with me. It is a 5-week course. And we are going to be talking about some amazing things: acceptance, coping, healing, recovering. And we're just going to get deep and help you to reclaim peace while you're in those, while you have those pieces. It is possible. It is doable. Only if you want to. And if you want to do it, I want to help you.
Yes. Like Ian Levin says, do your work, beloved.
Do your work, beloved.
Do your work, beloved. We want to get to the destination, but we do not want to do the work. The work is the hard part, but it produces, like the Bible says, beauty for ashes. So if you want to see the beauty beyond the ashes, you got to do the work, and this is how you do it. Now, I know your course is launching on the 1st. Can they register for the course on your website?
Yes, so registration will be up and available on Monday, this coming Monday. I will post the links. You can go on my website. You'll be able to register there. I'll have a link for a landing page, all of that good information for you all. There's an introductory special that'll be going on up until my birthday, which is the 28th of this month, you guys. But I'll share all of that information. I'll put it in the comments here as well. But again, I would love to have you walk alongside with me. Here's the thing, before we leave, Audra, I talk to many people and they don't know how to support women or men, people in general that are going through divorce. You guys, this is a way to help to support someone going through divorce. Buy the book. Go on Amazon. Buy the book. Sometimes you don't know what to say, and I get it. I know that when I was going through divorce, it felt like some people were avoiding me. because they didn't want to have the conversation.
Right.
They didn't know how to have
Right.
the conversation. Right? So this is just another, this is your way of saying, I support you. I'm praying for you. That's all you can say sometimes. The workshop, if that's something you want to sign someone up for, sign them up for it. You know, let them know you think that this will be beneficial to them. And it will be. And even if you have remarried and you know that there are still some layers that need to be removed as a result of something that you have encountered in a past relationship, and now you've brought it on here into your current marriage, you need this as well. This is for you as well. And so, and no judgment. No judgment.
Right.
We just working through this thing together as a team so that we can be happy, healthy, healed, and whole.
Yes, yes. Love it, love it, love it. Thank you so much for being on tonight and sharing this wholesome message for healing, happy, healed, healthy, and whole. So I'm excited for what God is doing with you and how you are just expanding, breaking down the borders, and just expanding all over the country, literally getting ready to tour across the country. So I'm so excited for you, so happy for you and what God is doing in this movement. You know, this is a movement of healing and it's a movement of restoration. And so you want God to begin to put those pieces together, then you got to get in on this course, get the book, and write. Writing is healing. It is therapy. And if you know you have a story to tell about the divorce you've gone through, this is a place for you to do it. So I admonish you, reach out to Tam, like she said, the Make It Rise. She also has a show called Let's Be Clear, and the show comes on twice a month. It's on her YouTube channel. So you can go on over to YouTube, Make It Rise, hear more of the conversation. Maybe you need to hear a little bit more. Maybe you need to hear from different perspectives. And that's what she does. She brings on different perspectives from couples, singles. She brings everybody on to give a different perspective about how you can get on this journey and get healed, happy, and whole. So God bless you, Tam. Thank you for coming.
God bless you.
We pressed past the little technical issues. I'm so grateful. The conversation has been phenomenal. I appreciate you. I love you, my sister.
I love you too.
I love you much. Is there any final words that you have for the viewers before we sign off tonight?
Absolutely. You deserve to be happy and whole and healed.
Yeah.
Why not do the work?
Yes.
Everything you need is in you or right at your fingertips.
Yes.
Why not? That my question is why not?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
You're not healed, you're not whole. Why?
Yeah. Wow. What a statement to end with for the night. All right. So join us next week. Like I said, we said go to her website, tamarajohnson.net. Get registered, get locked in, get your space. Are the spaces limited or how many?
No limit.
No limit. I'll say no excuse. No excuse, no reason not to get in on all the goods. All right. So y'all have a wonderful night. Thank you for joining us for the Working Wednesdays broadcast. It has been my absolute pleasure to host Tam on tonight. We'll be back next week. Next week I will have Coach Peaches Coates. She'll be on talking about women of faith in business. So I'm excited she'll be on with us next week. So y'all have a wonderful night. We will see you next time.
Good night.